Gibraltar es español.
Dare to dream that the dawn is breaking on an independent, united kingdom.
Gibraltar es español.
Let June the 23rd go down in our history as our Independence Day.
Gibraltar es español. Es español.
Brexit was sold as taking back control, but in every place where Britain actually touches Europe, the control has gone. To get into Gibraltar in the past, you have to get a stamp here. Now you get checked at the airport inside Gibraltar by Spanish customs. In this video, we're going to answer the question why Brexit means Brits have been banned from Gibraltar. Before I go any further, please hit that like and notification button and subscribe button. It really helps the channel. The EU, the UK and Spain have all come to an agreement about what should happen to Gibraltar. Ever since the UK left the EU, it has been nothing but a problematic situation on the border. And today, the UK has announced that there is a deal to be had.
This is a good arrangement that deals with the complexity of the current arrangements that mean that people have sometimes queued for hours and has harmed the certainty that business needs.
This agreement also clearly reflects a strategic and cooperative approach aimed at strengthening our relations in the context of the UK's departure from the EU.
Labour says it's a win, Brussels says it's progress, but what did Britain really give up to get this deal, and what does it mean for the thousands of Brits who used to cross the borders freely? Let's break this down properly, because what's just happened isn't just a deal, it's a transfer of control. Gibraltar is an overseas territory, and during the Brexit referendum 95% voted Remain. They're quite proudly British. They don't want to join Spain, but they've now been forced to because Britain has dictated that it should agree to join the Schengen zone. Schengen is the EU passport-free travel area, no internal border checks between member states, and now no border checks between Gibraltar and Spain. That sounds smooth, right? But here's the catch. To get that freedom for them, Britain had to give up something. From now on, the airport and port in Gibraltar become external EU borders, controlled not by the UK, not even by Gibraltar, but by Schengen rules. And who enforces those rules? The EU and Spain. Now, Gibraltar's government have pushed back. They insisted they remain in charge, but when you join someone else's club, you follow their rules. And when it comes to borders, Schengen rules are clear. Only Schengen states get the say. And the UK, well, we left.
Independence Day!
It's got to be a negotiated deal where you as Chief Minister, on behalf of the people and businesses of Gibraltar, feel protected, know that you are sovereign, and that those frictions that have come about as a result of the UK leaving the European are settled, are certain.
I think that's the key. I've been at the table with you, I've been at the table with the previous administration. We've been doing this deal together. It's a deal that's designed to protect everything that people of Gibraltar need protected, what's going to work for the people in the region, the 15,000 who come across every day. And I think that synergy of the government of Gibraltar and the government of the United Kingdom working together and trying to find a partnership with the UK and Spain to make this work and endure, I think it's worked perfectly. And thank you for all the efforts you've put in since you were elected.
We've tried. I always said nothing about Gibraltar without Gibraltar. I hope we've lived up to that. Thank you.
Unless, of course, you're British. Because now, British citizens are now officially third country nationals. That means you're a foreigner throughout Gibraltar. EU citizens can breeze in. Brits, you have to have a passport check, and you are now time limited to 90 days in any 180-day period. And for Brits thinking about retiring in Gibraltar, they're now gone, unless you're wealthy enough to secure a special residency status or navigate EU immigration bureaucracy. The idea of retiring in Gibraltar has now become a legal minefield. You're a third country national now, and the EU has rules. That means no more freedom of movement to Gibraltar. And we've seen this pattern before.
Really pleased. In fact, I'm over the moon that yesterday we managed to have a decisive breakthrough with our negotiations with the EU, reached agreement, the new Windsor framework, that I think is an extraordinary positive step for Northern Ireland, and it represents, as the European Union President herself said, a historic moment for us to move forward and resolve some of the difficulties of the past.
The exact same thing has taken place with Northern Ireland, a new set of borders and controls run by the EU.
That is the prize that is on offer. Because if we get this right, if we get this framework implemented, if we get the executive back up and running here, Northern Ireland is in the unbelievably special position, unique position in the entire world, European continent, in having privileged access, not just to the UK home market, which is enormous, 5th biggest in the world, but also the European Union single market. Nobody else has that. No one. Only you guys, only here.
And now, interestingly, Gibraltar.
And that is the prize. I can tell you, when I go around the world and talk to businesses, they know that. They're like, that's interesting. If you guys get this sorted, then we want to invest in Northern Ireland. Because nowhere else does that exist. That's like the world's most exciting economic zone.
A Brexiteer shouting about how exciting it is for the UK to be in the EU. To avoid a hard border with Ireland, Northern Ireland remained under EU single market rules for goods. That means checks now happen between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK.
Welcome to the Brexit, sir. I'm sorry.
The UK conceded sovereignty to preserve peace, but in doing so it gave the EU regulatory control over part of the country. A UK internal border enforced by the British government but written in Brussels. Gibraltar and Northern Ireland reveal the same pattern. Every time Britain shares a border with Europe, the EU ends up writing the rules, and the UK ends up giving way.
Independence Day!
This isn't just about borders, it's about power. The UK has been massively damaged by Brexit, economically, diplomatically, and strategically. Sovereignty hasn't been restored, it's been hollowed out, and in almost every major negotiation, the EU has walked away with more control, more leverage, and more legal authority than the UK. And as we're talking about Ireland and Northern Ireland, I thought I had to mention the riots that have been taking place over the last few weeks. In fact, they've been taking place over the last few years, ever since Brexit brought tensions to the forefront. In fact, shockingly, I put a graph together showing the number of riots taking place and the number of officers injured since 2010. And you'll note, since 2016, the number has gone up. They haven't been as intense as 2011, but they've still gone up in frequency and scale ever since Brexit. From Northern Ireland to Gibraltar and back to Britain, all I've seen from Brexit is complete and utter damage. Farage cheered, the Tories signed, and Labour, they've just shrugged it off as if it's nothing. And you will have to ask permission to visit land you once called home. The only winners appeared to be Spain, who got open access to Gibraltar, and Brussels got legal power over British borders. And the people of Britain, we're sat here waiting for our eventual, inevitable return to the European Union. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But also, if you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, it all helps the channel. And finally, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of my Patreon and YouTube subscribers who keep this channel going and growing. If you'd like to become one, there's a link in the description. Thanks for listening, bye for now.